All right. So, welcome everyone to the Playing with the Developer session. Today we have our host, me, Bloodsmith, GDPDuncan, and the developer of Fractal Whaled, Brandon. Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing
Doing
good.
great. Good to be here.
All right, you ready to kick some mutant ass?
Definitely.
I was born ready, mate.
Born ready. All right. Looks like Beach Boys are already ready for the big journey.
Definitely.
All right, talking about Hawaii, I have the first question. What inspired you to create a survival game set in Hawaii?
So some of the founders of Paddle Creek Gaming have personal ties to the island. It's in general a beautiful location, rich in culture, and not one that we've actually typically seen in survival games yet. So it felt like the right choice to us.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
true.
so
I don't think I've seen a single one set in Hawaii or tropical locations in general. You see not very often.
Yeah,
oh,
which is strange to us because for me, survival, it's I felt like a tropical kind of setting would be kind of the best thing for us. And it's like not something that's typically seen. Usually you have the post-apocalyptic European environments, so kind of nice having that change that we can kind of tie the culture in and kind of be able to bring survival players new experiences.
Well, talking about unique features, next question is, what features make Fractured Veil different from other survival games? We already talked about a few, of course, but are there any more we should note about?
Yeah, so the biggest one is definitely the emphasis on Hawaiian lore. So we do have unique Hawaiian weapons in the game already, and we do have a lot of in-depth quests planned for this game to kind of allow you to experience Maui and the culture of Hawaii in general. Outside of that, we do also have a drone that patrols the sky and streams live to Twitch and streams 24/7. We don't have it up right now, but on release, that'll be something that you'll expect to see. So it'll be flying around throughout the world. It'll be showcasing bases. It'll kind of be evaluating different threat levels. So you will see it following certain players. You will see it doing kind of specific things. And this will be seen on multiple servers. So it feels like something that it can be constantly something that players can kind of tune in and see how the world is evolving as well, whether you're offline or online.
That sounds really cool, though. Gotta wonder why no one else thought of this idea.
We also have we have mutant sieges, which is tied to the player's construction system. We'll kind of get there as we kind of progress through this play session, but as you can see in the distance, we have a player construction building up ahead. Um, as you're going through the world and claiming your area, once your base gets built up too much to the point, it becomes a threat to the mutants, and there will be a chance for the mutants to attack, similar to how you would see in 7 Days to Die, but not specific to nighttime. So this could happen at any point, and you will receive a notification, and it is something that you can prepare for, but it's something that you do need to keep an eye out for.
so I'd like to know one thing related to base defense. Of course, we're gonna get into that, but since we're talking, so basically, in 7 Days to Die, one of the things that kind of, well, I feel like bit not developed enough, I would say, is that the enemies, zombies, are attacking in following the certain pattern, right? So they're trying to get into your base, finding the fastest way to break into the base, right?
Hmm.
And the thing that annoys me about that is that it's pretty easy to cheese zombies because you can build these kind of trap ways to get them to lure them follow the certain paths, and then they just get stuck into the hole or just go down in some place and get stuck. So my question is, how is AI, enemy AI, is working in terms of base defense? Do they change like certain behaviors, attack patterns based on player response, or how does that work?
So currently we have something similar to how 7 Days has, where it does have certain priorities. But once early access releases and kind of early afterwards, we're going to be evaluating a lot of those systems and kind of making sure that we're keeping up with ways to possibly to prevent stuff like that from happening. I've done it in seven. I'm a huge 7 Days to Die player, so it's going to be something that we're constantly evaluating and tuning and making sure that we're creating gameplay mechanics that the mutants will be able to react to proactively and reactively to kind of make sure that the experience is challenging and not something that can be easily cheesed. So it will be a challenge within itself, but it's something that we're already thinking about. And once early access hits and moving forward from there, it'll be something that we're keeping a close eye on and tuning and tweaking.
And while we're still on the topic of base building and adding different features, is modding going to be supported later down the line?
So we don't have current plans for modding. I know some of our community have recommended it, and it's something that we are gonna see if we can kind of do in whatever way possible, but just nothing currently solidified right now.
Will you allow players to host their own private servers? And how customizable will they be in terms of settings if you do so?
So we do plan on offering players the ability to host their own private servers. We're still working out the exact details on what exactly they'll be able to control. But it will essentially be kind of similar to what you'll see in other games where you'll be able to kind of modify game time. So it's like the day-night cycle, other aspects of harvesting or other aspects that you can kind of make a little bit easier within the world, kind of changing different gameplay mechanics. But we should have more information available leading up to early access on what exactly to expect.
And how's weather gonna impact, let's say, the character or structures? For example, Icarus, right? One of the things I like about Icarus is the weather impact on your structures, putting your house on fire. And do you have any plans on that?
You and I have a very big difference between what is nice for a structure, mate.
So we haven't had too many discussions on that. We haven't had too many suggestions either. I don't know exactly what direction we're going to be taking weather environment on actual construction pieces. I do know we're kind of looking at how we want weather to kind of affect the player in general. But if you or your community definitely have suggestions coming from other games like Icarus, definitely stop by our Discord and let us know. We do spend a lot of our time going through those suggestions and kind of engaging what the community wants, and if it's something that's reasonable and kind of aligns with the direction of the game, we'll definitely consider it.
Something important especially for base building, are there going to be any furniture items?
Definitely. So
Sweet.
Once early access hit, there is definitely going to be a lot more furniture options coming into the game. We got a lot of suggestions from not only our base building community, but a lot of role players within our Discord. So we'll definitely have a lot more options coming in that you'll be able to kind of furnish and kind of make your base your own.
So how
Like
many players can we
Shigeo.
expect to find on the server?
So our goal for early access is to get 500 concurrent players per server. So this will be per game world. So what you see when you open up the map, it's going to be spread out throughout this map.
What other interesting survival elements do you have or planning to implement other than hunger and thirst? These basic ones in survival games.
So there's going to be quite a few kind of survival elements, kind of expanding on those, kind of specific to adding in a little bit more gameplay features that affect stuff like the reliance on making sure that you're farming rare resources, turning them into other resources that allow you to kind of benefit not only the construction system, crafting, but also kind of player progression. I think the biggest one that we kind of alluded to as well is the making sure that we're expanding kind of more RPG elements into the survival genre in general. So tuning not only the player skills, attributes, and how you're able to kind of place your character on that in conjunction with talents, but also finding unique ways within the world that can affect kind of gameplay in general. We're working our way towards a system of actual like NPC settlements and having it so that a lot of investment on both PvE and PvP can be done through those settlements. So giving players access to certain things that they're able to do once they reach those and start contributing to the rebuilding of those settlements is going to be able to open us up to a lot more functionality and gameplay features that we haven't really seen in other survival games.
So what other features are you guys planning to add during the early access stage?
So the biggest ones is definitely going to be a lot more in-depth quests. I mentioned a few earlier, as well as base decorations, farming, fishing, deeper crafting and harvesting, kind of rehaul. Similar to what I mentioned earlier, we're going to offer more options to the foliage system, so not just having each plant give you fiber, each one's giving you specific things that you want to go for. Improved tree harvesting, where you're actually felling the trees and being able to kind of do more with that. We're considering different types of wood. That was one thing we were talking about. But aside from those, we're adding in a lot of collectibles, rare items, journals, a lot of exploration stuff for a lot of people who like to kind of venture in and go out throughout the world. One of the big things as well is kind of the NPC settlements, to actually allow players to kind of work towards something and invest in a system that they can kind of contribute to, kind of it be also a hub where they'd get access to additional quests, unique crafting recipes, as well as some other stuff we have planned.
And how friendly is the game gonna be to PvE players? For example, can you just play the game only PvE and avoid PvP at all?
So currently the way we have it is stuff is separated through PvE zones and PvP. We're planning on offering PvE players and new players as best of an experience as possible, but we do need to balance stuff in some ways where we do want to kind of push certain players out of their comfort zone for specific things. It won't be everything. So a majority of what you're seeing will be kind of focused on offering the kind of refuge of a player being able to kind of have a base here. If they want to stick to PvE, they can harvest, they can go through the systems, they can come back here and they can store stuff here. But we're going to be looking at some balancing stuff to kind of just avoid kind of mega tribes and like other specific players from using just the PvE zone where they stash all their good loot, go to PvP, start raiding everyone, and then kind of come back and take what they have from there and kind of stashing it in a place that's safe. So a lot of balance considerations are going to be coming in where we're going to be looking at how to balance the PvP and PvE side. But we do, because of the RPG elements, want to make sure that we're giving them as much of a safe space where they can come in and play the game and enjoy a majority of the content without having to worry about logging in and spending 36 hours defending their base.
And by the way, are you planning to implement any transportations or maybe mounts or something?
So we do have plans for golf carts. We do have plans for a fabrication system as well. So that'll offer different transportation options, and we'll be talking about that more once we hit early access. Com Tower also has zip lines. I think we do plan on expanding a little bit more on that, as far as I'm aware. So if you do go to the Com Tower, you're actually able to take it directly from the Com Tower to the beach. So offering kind of varying transportation options is going to be important, as the map is going to be quite big.
So since there's so many dungeons and you can travel to different vales, will there be like an end goal?
So a lot of what you're going to be seeing on different vales and specific to the dungeons, we're going to be tying in a lot of lore and tying into specific things that you'll be able to do in order to have that kind of story and kind of lore driven play style. So we will have a lot of that coming up, and we'll have tons more information on what we'll be introducing specific to this story coming soon. But definitely it's definitely going to be able to open us up to a lot of different unique experience that are driven based on the Hawaiian culture.
So I have one question. Since Gameoneer is about rating games and sharing gamer experience, the question from us is, how would you rate your game from 1 to 10 and why?
See, I love this question because I am 100% going to say 10 out of 10 IGN, but no, I love this game, and coming from so many other survival games, it's just having those extra experiences that lean towards more player investment, more RPG mechanics, and being able to kind of dictate the player choice without being pigeonholed into kind of focusing on too many things, when I can kind of have more control over how I want my character's investment to be in general, is exactly why I enjoy it so much. And especially being able to kind of watch the game progress as well, and seeing all the stuff that's come in and how everything has progressed has been just absolutely amazing. And having our community in general being as supportive and great with kind of community feedback and helping us shape the game into what it is just absolutely amazing. So I have to be 100% biased.
Duncan, do we have more questions up the sleeve?
Yes. Are you guys planning to run an open beta before the early access launch?
So unfortunately, we don't. The only people who currently have access to the game are early alpha testers as well as Kickstarter backers. Last month or the month before, we let in Wave 3, so we're letting in Wave 4 soon. But unfortunately, right now, you cannot access the game through an open beta.
Yeah, talking about updates of early access, full release. Will there be updates past the full release?
Yep. So there's definitely gonna be a lot planned. I don't have too many specifics on what that'll be looking like, but we're definitely going to be getting together and releasing a roadmap on what players can expect throughout not only early access but final release of the game. So there definitely is going to be a lot more coming. A lot of the stuff that I mentioned earlier, and then a lot of stuff beyond that. So definitely really excited there. Oh.
And how long would it take to reach the end game normally after full release?
So that's a very difficult question to answer currently, but it's something that definitely we're going to spend a lot of focus on. It'll probably be similar to other survival game experiences, but with the MMO aspect and the RPG elements, it will be a bit longer. But it's something that we're definitely going to be making sure that it's tuned in a way where things feel right and not too grindy.
You said a couple months earlier, but when is the full release going to be? Is there a time window yet?
Yep. So we are planning on early next year. We were originally going to release it at the end of this year, but we wanted to be in a place that we're ensuring the best experience possible. So there's a lot of stuff that we still want to get out before that, but early next year is our window.
That'd be great.
Thanks for showing us around. That's really nice first impressions of the game, which is currently in beta, right?
Alpha. So it's like
Alpha.
we're
Okay.
but it's coming. It's within early next year. Going to be hitting that early access button. So definitely that's the goal. And there's definitely going to be a lot of progress and a lot of stuff being worked on from now and then. So definitely take a look. If you want to become a part of the community, check out our Discord. If you have any suggestions, feel free to post them there.
Yep. Visit Fracture Whale, social media, Discord, follow them on Twitter and other places, because this game is an upcoming promising survival games for people who enjoy both PvE and PvP. And also, if you enjoy this game, don't forget to drop a like on Gameoneer website to help it rank better in one of the most anticipated survival games list, which we announce every few months. So, yep. Thanks again for Brandon. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I mean, this was great. I look forward to more of this, and I want to thank your community as well, and look forward to showing you guys around once we hit early access too.
Can't
All
wait for
right.
that.
That was a pleasure. Thanks again, and catch you later, guys.
See ya.
Later.